Now we'll be back. Okay. And change. Chuck. Now.
So this is a little bit from our P4 team that was working. I'm Julia, I was the digital lead. And here is Rafa.
Hello, I was the digital content lead as well. Since our team was as you can say, overworked, we divided the content coordinator part of the P4 team in 3 people. So I was the guy that was more hands-on with this stuff, but I also divided this role with Rodrigo and Luana, who helped us quite a lot.
And Guilherme, who is our project manager, he's our digital coordinator here in Brazil, and we also hired a freelancer to help us with the content that we're gonna talk a little bit more later.
All right.
Here's a little bit of data from our 1 month. So since July 26th, we had around 70,000 sessions. Which is a little bit low compared to what we used to have in P3 during August. We're still trying to understand why is that and how we can get our sessions higher. From the devices, we're having a lot of access, quite split between desktop and mobile, and our sources are a little bit equal to what we used to have before. So the top source from organic traffic, and then from Google Grants. And the average time on post, which is 3 minutes, we're also trying to get more, get that a little bit higher. This is a little bit from our donations. So since we launched it before, we had 86 donations with a conversion rate of 3% of those that clicked in all the buttons and gave us a regular donation. And it's a little bit how many people entered our donation page from the header and footer especially. And the others we're still trying to understand from each pages, because we created a lot of pages for the donors. For us trying to improve that. So a little bit of our taxonomy. I don't know from which other country we were inspired, but I think Canada did something like that, but we tried to split in 3 categories, which was protect nature, transform society, and inspire activists. Because one of the things that we wanted to avoid specific campaign terms, so I think that was really interesting for us. Protect nature is for forest, ocean biodiversity. Transform society was a little bit more focused on climate and energy and some of our resist movements here in Brazil. And inspire activism was a category specific for us to share stories and inspire our users to act more, and also the tags of our ships. We also added the link, so if anyone wants to see the whole sitemap. And here for some tips.
One of the main tip, I would say, the weekly check-ins that helped us a lot. You guys, the P14 is amazing, and you guys know their stuff. Yes, Lillian too, and Luke as well. So we encourage everyone to reach out, check with them, and get some guidance, because those weekly check-ins are the ones that got us focused on what we had to be done and the time frame that we had. And they do not bite often. And that's the weekly check-ins.
She does.
Often.
Something that was really important for us to do was to ask people what they want before starting our preparatory phase, because then we could manage expectations and kind of like give this sensation of new start with P4 that was really interesting to get the whole NRO on board. And also to get ideas for pages and content that could be useful for everybody. something that was really, really important for us was to create some content templates, because the challenge was that P4 demanded a new kind of content, so it was not the pages we used to have in P3. And not everybody, not every Commons editor understood how that should be. We wanted also to avoid to get the content lost in like several files and Google Drive accounts. Like if I asked everybody to just give me, I would have like files in
everywhere.
And when we start putting them on the WordPress, it would be very confusing. So to keep everything organized, we got the job to create all those models and share to the Commons editors the specific link where they should create. So that's just a quick view of our Google Drive. Like we had like a folder for take action and all the pages we wanted to create in the model. So how they should be created, like the maximum of words for each part, and something like to really guide who was going to create that job, the content. So organization was one of the keys for that, and we also created a management spreadsheet to keep track of all the content, and that's just a quick view of it. So we had like everything linked on that spreadsheet, the person who was responsible for creating the content, who was going to review it after, like the deadline and the status. So if we had already put in the WordPress, if it was already signed off, if we had to, like if we highlight images and resumes were everything okay. So that really helped us on the like the final weeks before going live.
Lucas seemed really satisfied with this.
I am amazed. I don't know what to say.
One of the key points as well, because we were split in another campaigns, is to hire a freelancer. In this case, we needed to hire one to help with the new content and to migrate the old one. And also this, we didn't think of it before we hired the freelancer, but it helps us to have an external vision of Greenpeace, because we are used to have this opinion of how Greenpeace works and how we can talk about a campaign. But having someone that never was never involved in Greenpeace at all was really important, because he helped us see what were the best way to deliver a content that we already have. So it helps us like quite a lot and be fully committed to the build of the new content on P4. So I would really like recommend this to hire a freelancer that is external from Greenpeace.
Yes, especially because we had a lot of projects going on, and so Luana and Rodrigo could not create the content themselves, but they would have like they would be quite like the editors to review it, to like point out things that were missing. That was really important.
Yeah. Training and best practice. This is something that I was kind of in charge of. Before the launch, it was really important to use the release site, what was it called, staging site, to train everyone so they can get used to WordPress. Although WordPress is quite easy to use and has very intuitive links and buttons and everything, it was good to have people training before they were actually doing and writing content. So I created a P4 manual so they can know which buttons to click, where to write where, and how to put images and stuff. And we will also do another document for best practice that are still in the making right now, because we are including the SEO tips and image sizes and everything that will help us create better content than there was with P3, because we didn't have like a manual for creating content on P3. We just have a guide, a publication guide. And now that we have like a better website, we need to have best content practice, best practice to teach people how to create content. And Julia's cell phone is
sorry.
okay. And that's really essential because even if people already had contact to already have worked with WordPress before, it changes quite a lot. We have before is modification of WordPress. There's a lot of new things there that are not available on the vanilla WordPress installation, like the GPI library plugin that is really helpful, and people have to know how to use them. So the document with publication and best practices are really, really, really important. Show and share, yes. This is also very important. Oh, we're having a battery issue here. Just a second.
I have a question during the battery thing. How many people are contributing to publish on your website?
For creating like new posts.
Around, it's like 2
we-
people or 20 people, like.
I think around like 20 people.
Yeah, because the whole comms team is able to create and edit create content, and a few people are able to edit. We gave permissions to people to publish content, and just like 5 people to edit, and just the project team from before are admins.
Yeah, but I think it's around 20 people.
As admins, editors, and authors.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. It's show and share. It's important as well because people have to know when P4 is coming. So what's going to change and what's going to be better, what's going to be different. So I encourage you guys to use the all staff meetings that we all have in our NROs to share, just go over a few details and show a bit of a showcase how P4 will be better to show the taxonomy. And that's where we're gonna have a few questions, and that's how you know what the question is going to be and how you can focus on the content. Because we got a lot of questions from campaigners because we were changing a lot how P3 works, and a lot of content from campaigns were quote-unquote lost. But we just encouraged them to create a new content, a new kind of content that they were satisfied with. So yeah, we're still in talks, but they're gonna realize that it's much better very soon.
And some things that we could have done better, I think was the delay on migration, because as we said, like the whole communication team was very involved in other projects, and at the first time we asked them to select like kind of 10 blogs that were important for their projects and campaigns and give us the link so we could migrate, and they took like more than 1 month to do it. So I think or we could have started before, or we could have emphasized the importance of doing that so it didn't kind of like complicated the rest of the process. And we also did some changes in the taxonomy during the migration sprints, which were a little bit confusing, but I think at the end we could like really reach a result that was satisfactory for everybody. But that's something that we should have kind of like defined before, like, and not change it.
We had a bit of a stroke of luck because the P4 India launch was delayed, so that helped us a little bit. But usually the NRO should not count on other NROs delays for the project. So that was good and bad.
Yeah, and so for the Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics, we should encourage people that are not using Engage Networks to start that earlier, because we had a little bit of some surprises in this process, and that was a little bit stressful at the end because we're really worried with the launch. So that's something that should be useful for those that are not using Engage Networks, especially because the handbook's very concentrated on the tips for Engage Networks, and some other NROs uses some different setup systems.
Like us.
Like us, yes. So that's something. And
yeah. And for my last bit, we've had a few communication issues. I think every NRO that has campaigners will have them, so every NRO will have them. And it's okay, because people will not understand initially how P4 is built to engage people. It's not to showcase our content, it's to engage people to engage with our content. And we have a little bit of a struggle to communicate that, to show that P4 is an opportunity to have a better content to engage more people. And we're still having a little bit, because people are still trying to migrate content from 2006, and that is not relevant by now. But we are convincing them little by little that it's much better to create a new kind of content, to create a new page, a new take action page, for instance, that will have everything they want, everything that they had, in a new format that is more engaging and it's a better content overall. So internal communication issues will happen, so don't be scared and just treat them with empathy, and to understand better what they want, so you can engage with P4 much better.
That's it, guys. Thank you.
Yay!